The political world, the entertainment world, and the justice system collided in dramatic fashion as word spread that former President Donald Trump planned to issue pardons for Todd and Julie Chrisley, the reality television stars whose legal troubles captivated millions. The possibility of the high-profile couple receiving clemency set off a wave of intense public conversation, especially as the story gained traction through an explosive segment aired by a major broadcast outlet. The report described the move as a bold and controversial decision that thrust the Chrisley family back into national focus and reshaped a conversation about power, punishment, and public redemption. The Chrisleys rose to fame as the charismatic, energetic, and opinionated stars of a hit television series built on family dynamics, comedic flair, and grand Southern charm. Their legal downfall, marked by accusations of financial wrongdoing, shocked viewers who had followed their lives for years. Their convictions brought years of debate, emotion, and grief to their supporters, who argued repeatedly that the couple had been targeted unfairly. Their critics, meanwhile, viewed their case as a symbol of accountability in a system that rarely punishes wealthy and well-known individuals with such severity. As rumors of pardons intensified, the national discussion shifted sharply. Commentators pointed to the deeply unusual nature of a former president positioning himself as a force capable of revisiting and potentially undoing federal convictions that had already passed through formal appeals. According to the explosive broadcast, Trump was prepared to grant clemency on the grounds that the Chrisleys had suffered excessive punishment, a theme the couple's supporters had voiced from the moment their sentences were announced. In the days following the report, the Chrisley family found themselves in the center of a storm they neither anticipated nor fully understood. Their adult children, who had stayed publicly active throughout their parents' imprisonment, reacted with a mix of shock, gratitude, and cautious hope. They had fought tirelessly to keep attention on what they described as inconsistencies in the case, leaning heavily on emotional testimony and personal appeals. News that a powerful political figure was preparing to intervene created a moment of overwhelming public tension. Julie Chrisley, known for her calm demeanor and quiet strength, reportedly expressed disbelief when told about the possibility of clemency. During her time behind bars, she had spoken about the emotional weight of incarceration, the fear of being forgotten, and the daily struggle to maintain faith in a system she believed had failed her. For her, the notion of a pardon carried profound meaning far beyond the political spectacle surrounding it. It represented the possibility of reclaiming her role as a mother, partner, and advocate, free from the isolation and hardship of confinement. Todd Chrisley responded in a characteristically passionate tone when news reached him. Throughout the ordeal, he had remained outspoken about his innocence, insisting that the charges were based on distorted narratives and manipulated testimonies. He carried deep resentment toward those he believed shaped the case unfairly. The idea that a pardon might finally bring an end to the struggle ignited a surge of emotion within him. Supporters described his reaction as a mix of relief, vindication, and disbelief after a long season jumped into the conversation, analyzing the implications of a former president intervening in a case long after leaving office. They debated whether such an action would be symbolic, political, or rooted in genuine concern for perceived injustice. Some argued that the Chrisleys' celebrity status placed them in a unique position, drawing attention to a system many argue is inconsistent and at times overly punitive. Others criticized what they viewed as a misuse of influence that undermines judicial processes meant to stand independent of political agendas. Political analysts remarked that Trump's willingness to involve himself in such a case suggested a renewed interest in shaping public opinion beyond traditional political settings. The Chrisley story, with all its drama, heartbreak, and national visibility, offered a compelling stage for a dramatic act of clemency. Whether motivated by strategy, compassion, or a mixture of both, the move immediately became a dominant talking point across television, social platforms, and public commentary. Advocates for criminal justice reform seized the moment to highlight long-standing concerns about the severity of federal sentencing guidelines. They argued that if the Chrisley case prompted reconsideration of those issues, the impact would extend far beyond a single family. Many groups advocating for reform expressed cautious optimism, hoping that attention to the case might spark broader discussions about fairness, access to appeals, and the need for more uniform standards across federal institutions. Critics of the proposed pardon expressed outrage, insisting that justice should not bend for those with fame or political connections. They noted that many incarcerated individuals serve sentences under far harsher conditions and with far fewer resources to defend themselves. Allowing a high-profile couple to receive special consideration, they argued, sent a damaging message about equity in the justice system. This tension fueled an emotional national debate about who deserves mercy, who receives it, and who remains unseen despite equal or greater suffering. Inside the Chrisley family circle, the emotional response was profound. Their youngest members had lived through years of public scrutiny, sudden lifestyle changes, and intense responsibility. For them, a pardon represented not only freedom for their parents, but healing after a long period of turmoil. The family had become known for resilience during public hardship, and the possibility of a reunion brought a new surge of hope to those who had watched them fight through disappointment after disappointment. As speculation around the pardons grew stronger, public attention turned to the couple's future. Would they reclaim roles in entertainment? Would they pursue advocacy for incarcerated families? Would they use their platform to support reforms inspired by their own experiences? Friends close to the family suggested that both Todd and Julie had already expressed a desire to help others through similar circumstances. Julie, in particular, had spoken openly about the emotional and psychological strain faced by women in prison, hinting that she hoped to use her experience to bring visibility to issues often ignored by the broader public. The broadcast segment that ignited the national debate painted the potential clemency as both dramatic and unprecedented, describing the story with a sense of urgency that drove headlines throughout the day. Pundits quickly latched onto the idea that this moment could be a turning point not just for the Chrisley family, but for the national conversation about justice, celebrity influence, and the power of political figures to reshape legal outcomes long after verdicts have been delivered. Public reaction remained deeply divided. Supporters of the Chrisleys flooded social platforms with emotional posts, expressing joy and gratitude that someone with influence might intervene on behalf of a family they adored. Opponents criticized what they saw as a dangerous blurring of lines between political authority and judicial independence. The debate reflected larger tensions already brewing across the country, reaching yet another flashpoint through a story that bridged entertainment, politics, and morality. For the Chrisleys, the unfolding developments marked a new chapter in a long, exhausting saga. Whether the pardons become reality or remain speculation, the possibility alone reshaped the public narrative surrounding them. It reframed them not merely as reality stars or defendants, but as symbols within a much larger national conversation about fairness, power, and the complex dynamics of the justice system. As the nation continues to react, one reality remains clear. The Chrisley story has not yet reached its end. Instead, it has expanded into a broader cultural moment that forces the country to reckon with challenging questions about who receives mercy, who grants it, and what justice truly means in a nation grappling with deep divisions and evolving expectations.